understanding the way they're beating teams left, right, and center. At home, away, wherever they meet you, they're going to beat you. But we'll be talking about that and more on the show. But first up, you know how you can reach us. CB is about to give you those details.
Yes, indeed. You can, of course, send us a message via WhatsApp. The number is 0809 440 And you can also tweet at smooth981. And any need for the phone calls? Don't forget we're streaming live on YouTube. Yes, it's youtube.com/ smooth981 FM. And if you want to just say a cheeky and happy hello, yeah, you can give us a ring as well. 014489
We'll be telling you what to talk about once the show starts. But first up, these are the stories to expect today.
All right, so Governor Abiodun hosts Tobi Amusan and gives her a very nice reward, 5 million naira. Coming with that hosting. Yay. And Alcaraz's confidence has been dented by a defeat in the first match as number one.
Yes. So huge stories coming up, but also let's just go through all the football stories so that.
All right, so Jurgen Klopp's side has offered the mildest of Champions League resistance at home to Rangers. Very, very mild. And Chelsea's Mendy, Kante as well, are back from injuries, and that's coming ahead of the Milan clash. And on the other side, we'll talk about Barcelona and Xavi saying basically they've got 3 more finals to come. And Conte, we spoke about Conte on Tuesday. Conte wants more clinical Spurs. And Vincenzo Montella has been impressed by Mourinho's Roma and also discusses Dybala's performance as well.
Yeah, and then eventually, if we have time, we'll get to Wagata Christie. I cannot believe that name stuck. But yeah, so we start with Tobi Amusan, in Ogun State. She's been welcomed back home by her governor, and she's been given 5 million naira and a house. Yes.
Go, Toby.
Yeah, and she's also been made an ambassador for her state. For me, I mean, it's really, I don't know. It's been a long time coming. It's fantastic. It's sad though that it took her winning setting a world record to get all these accolades. And here's what's funny. A lot of people have been talking about Tobi Amuso. Nigeria has 3 world record holders. We have 2 other world record holders that are Paralympians. And this is where we start talking about inclusion and all and diversity, because I'm not saying the others haven't been recognized, they've been applauded a little, but most of the spotlight is on Tobi. And don't get me wrong, she deserves it. I'm not saying take out the spotlight from Tobi Amuso or take out the spotlight from Ese Brume. I'm saying spread the spotlight.
Right.
Let everybody get equal measure. Because if we have 3 world record holders in the country, the other 2 shouldn't be left behind as if their achievement shouldn't be recognized. So I think I'm applauding the governor for doing this. I think we need to see more of this, especially from the states. Let it start from the states so that you develop the talent in your state, but also recognize those that have achieved across board. There were 26 medals won by Nigerian women at the Commonwealth Games, with 35 medals in all, and there were 2 world records set there. Celebrate everybody. Yeah. I'm not saying again, I repeat before people that, because some Nigerians like to hear either or. It's not either or. It's all of them together. I'm saying keep this spotlight as it is on Tobi Amuso. She's getting all the brands sponsoring her. She's getting recognition from the state government. Just spread it across all the other athletes. Right. That's what I want to see. But first of all, we applaud this, because I always drag government when they don't recognize its athletes. So let me celebrate the fact that they are beginning to do what they need to do. Yeah.
All right. State government in this case, right?
Yeah, state government, before we now get to federal, before we now start going to corporates, because corporates, you have a role to play. If you think about it, in America and UK, everywhere, every developed country where you see them dominating in sports and win medals, it's really the private sector carrying it. It's not government money. Government does not have money that sports need. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. Every time we call the government for the Super Eagles and Super Falcons, yes, they have their role to play. They put policies. They have a budget, but it's a developmental budget to make a business out of sports, which is what it should be, a profitable business industry. is private sector money. Oil money, oil.
Oh, Tega. All right, so let's move on to our next story, and this one is it has to do with tennis.
Yeah.
Okay, so Alcaraz has had confidence dented by suffering a defeat in the first game after being world number one.
Yes. So welcome.
Wow.
That's all I can say.
Welcome
Cabo.
and take
So
it.
because you see, I often tell people getting to the top is much easier than staying at the top. People think, oh, because I struggled to get here, that's just the beginning of your hustle. You see, whatever struggle you used to get to the top, multiply it by 5. That's what you require to stay there for the first level. And then if you stay at the top and remain stagnant, you will fall down. So you need to keep growing. So you need to keep multiplying the pressure. Now he comes in, he hasn't played since he was crowned world number one after winning his first title at the US Open. So he comes into this game and everybody's looking at him like, Carlos. Hey, because he's a brilliant tennis player in the sense that he's very athletic, but he's also very smooth and suave and intelligent. So you watch him, he's a blend of he's not Roger Federer per se, because Roger Federer is a little perfect, but he's a blend of Pete Sampras with Rafa Nadal with the stamina of Novak Djokovic. So he's amazing, and he's really a young lad. So he comes in and you want to watch him every time because you're almost certain he's going to put on a show in performance, in competitiveness, and in style. And then he comes on the court and David Goffin completely sweeps him away.
Annihilation.
And he's world number one. Because now you're world number one. Everybody's playing you like world number one.
Yes.
Sometimes you could get away with stuff being Carlos Alcaraz, a young tennis player. But now you're world number one. People will bring out their best. That bottom box best.
Yes.
That's what they bring out to face you. So what they will not try with other people, or they would reserve a little, they will come full force at you. So he even said that he buckled a little under the pressure, and he's going to have to, and his confidence, he was one that actually said his confidence has taken a little hit. So he's going to have to play better. He has the opportunity at Basel, I think it's next week or the week after. So he has the opportunity to remember that now there's a target on his back. You better play.
I mean, he's 19 years old.
Yeah.
19 years old. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, world number one. When you climb to the top, you didn't know to whom much is given.
Way too much is expected, in fact. All right, so let's talk more football now. Jurgen Klopp needed something to literally calm his nerves. And he said, or rather the news is saying that his side offers the mildest. This is a very polite way of saying what happened. The mildest of Champions League resistance at home to Rangers?
I would say this, mild in the sense that Rangers are not in the best of form. I don't know what's happening to them. Well, I know what's happening to them. They've lost a few players.
Right.
They started the season with a few injuries, and so just getting back into the rhythm of the Rangers that left last season, it's a tough one for them. But they played their best. They really did try. They had one or two chances. They did come out to play. Unfortunately, they came out against the Liverpool side that were also desperate to get a win. After what Liverpool suffered at Brighton, going 2-0 down, over the weekend in Premier League, going 2-0 down to Brighton, coming back up to lead by 3-2, imagining that they were going to win the game, and then dropping 2 points after conceding a goal by Trossard. I mean, he scored a hat-trick that weekend. So it's not been a good time for Liverpool. So they were desperate for a win. They needed the win. Everybody's confidence was shaken. And Jurgen Klopp was in a he's in the middle of something. He doesn't know whether to drop some players if it will affect their confidence, especially as they are low on confidence, and he doesn't know whether to play them just to get results. So he's in that mix, and then defensively Liverpool has a struggle. So Liverpool were desperate, and they came out with that desperation. They got the 2 goals they needed, they got the win they needed, and Trent Alexander-Arnold will say, yes, I scored a goal and that should give me confidence, but the question has never been about Trent Alexander-Arnold's competence in attack. It's been about his effectiveness in defense. And he's a defender. So if your primary assignment is to defend and you're not defending, even if you score a lot of goals, as long as you concede goals, there'll still be those question marks. So yes, some people will say he needed that goal and it will help his confidence, but that's not true. Defensively, he's still questionable, and that's where people will judge him on. Yeah.
All right. Let's take a message coming through, and this is from Tayo. Tayo says, success has many relatives and failure is an orphan. Congratulations, Tobi Amusan, Let me see if I can run and catch the eye of my own governor.
Yeah.
All right, Kloop says that win to step down from a difficult EPL season. He used that win to step down from a difficult season. Don't worry, his team is coming back this weekend.
Pity them now.
All right, Josh says, Dear Tega, on Toby and her winning colleagues, it's normal for the government to recognize and honor all the winners, just as well as the private sector has the right to choose which of the winners they feel can promote their brand. If we compel the private sector to go with all, they might actually end up with nobody. It is what it is.
Oh, Josh, so you're missing my point. When I say um recognize, they can choose who represents their brands. That's for the private sector. I'm saying private sector putting money into the sports industry. Whether you like it or not, you can argue about brand or not brand. If the private sector does not put money into the sports industry, Nigeria's sports industry is going nowhere. Just think entertainment industry, what has happened to the entertainment industry. As much as that money came from the private sector, you can see how it's going. We all went to watch Brotherhood, and we're all clapping in fact, I'm going to watch that Brotherhood part 2. Yes. I'm vexed like that.
Okay.
So you can imagine that kind of money coming in has made the industry to grow and improve the standards and the quality you're seeing. That's exactly what has to happen in sports. They can pick whoever will be their brand ambassador, but they need to invest in the sports industry for it to grow. That's the end of the matter.
All right, Josh, thanks for your message. And it's Zibi here, by the way, on the locker room with Tega, Sporty Tega. We're taking a quick break. When we return, the conversation will continue right here on Smooth Breakfast. I almost like Smooth Drive.
Oh my God. Sorry. Okay, so when we come back,
okay.
So the truth of the matter is, I don't know where they kept the bed.
No, the bed is
Okay,
Furtado. Yeah. I made a note the other day.
All right. So when we come back, we'll come back with
those are
yeah. When we come back, we'll come back with the stories, and then
the same story.
Yeah. No.
Okay, Chelsea.
You start from Chelsea. Yeah.
Okay.
So Chelsea's the next one, Abi?
Yeah, Chelsea.
Yeah. So we come from that Chelsea story.
Okay.
And then we'll take some messages as they come in. Check YouTube for messages.
Right.
Let's open YouTube here. No, not there.
Let's do that. To celebrate, we're giving away another 55 million naira in our Save and Win Ali promo too. That's 105,000 naira.
No, that's your YouTube.
Oh, that's the live
500,000 naira for 5 people every quarter and
see.
1 million naira for one lucky person at the end of the year. To stand a chance, simply save at least 10,000 naira into your Union Bank account every month.
Close that one.
Download the Union mobile app or visit the nearest branch to open one. Terms and conditions apply.
These ones were set up earlier. So is there a way to find it from
your channel? Go to line. It's where we are.
Oh, good.
So you take if you check if there are messages and you take from here.
Okay.
So the messages, if there are messages,
they'll come up here.
All right. So we're waiting for your messages on YouTube. I know there's a few of you watching
YouTube,
right now.
Send us those messages.
Right, we're back.
You're listening to Smooth Breakfast.
It's the locker room on Smooth 98.1. Zibi here and Tega. We're talking about everything related to sports. And if you're on YouTube, hey, you can send us messages. It's youtube.com/smooth981 on YouTube 981 FM. Thank you very much. And of course on WhatsApp it's 0809 440 981 if you want to send your messages in, or just tweet at Smooth981. B says, where is Shockbear? Did I miss another announcement? No, you didn't, B. Shockbear is off for a few days and I'm filling in for her. All right, 8:32. Let's get back to talking about sports, which I think is Tega's high of the day, talking about sports. Right, so this one is from Chelsea. Now, Mendy and Conte are back from injuries, and this is coming ahead of the Milan clash. Great news.
Whether Mendy will start though is the question, because you have to worry about putting Mendy just coming back from injury into a fixture like this, a big clash like this against AC Milan. AC Milan have been in good form, but sometimes in the Champions League they can be very questionable. And maybe it's because of their period out of the Champions League, but they're a little shaky. However, they're still a dangerous side, and you do not want to, make mistakes in your choices with them, especially if you are a Brighton manager that just came in, doesn't have a lot of um, uh, Champions League experience on your CV, and then it becomes a tough call to make. And for Kante too, like Graham Potter said, with Kante on the pitch, it makes it a little it gives them a little but again, he too is coming from injury. You have to question his fitness, you have to question his form, whether he's going to be able to compete at that level. So I think it's a question of managing minutes, but he'll be happy to have his squad back and then come gradually put them back into the team. But that just sets Chelsea Milan up for a big clash, because Chelsea needing all the wins they can get. They have 1 point in the Champions League. Yeah. At the bottom, they are
Why are you
carrying
so happy saying that?
because they are your team. They are carrying the table on their head. So it's a desperate position for them. Let's see how they handle today's drama, because it's a real test for Graham Potter. He's under pressure. He needs to hit the ground running, especially as Chelsea number one is a team that doesn't waste time to fire you.
They don't.
They don't give you any
Win
time
the Champions League, doesn't matter. You're gone.
You exactly. You don't bring the result, you're gone. And for Graham Potter, especially because he didn't have much on his CV before, if you're fired, how do you get back? You know, the likes of Thomas Tuchel, they had a little bit on their CV.
Oh, I heard he's already gotten an offer.
He rejected Bayern Leverkusen. Yes.
Wow. Why?
Yes, that's how you do it. When you've worked for PSG, what are you doing with Bayern? You finish working for multinational. You now want to come and run from
local.
You know, roadside. No, that's not the way forward. And so he's rejecting now. He's looking for something else. If Bayern Munich calls him, he'll take that.
Right. Yeah, he probably would.
But yeah, so it's going to be a tough ask, but Graham Potter really has to try and get the result. Over the weekend, there were questions about the red card and how that result could have come out differently against Crystal Palace. But today, no mistakes, don't count on luck, just do the business and try to get the results.
All right. Tayo says Chelsea is flirting with Europa. Mean, Tayo, mean.
At this time, they're no longer flirting. They have popped the question.
Oh, wow.
Will you be my wife?
And Victor says sprint will always be a notch higher than other track and field events. This is why Tobi is getting all the shine. All right, let's move on to our next story. Tega, we good?
Yeah.
All right, so this one is about Conte. Conte made the news on Monday.
Yeah.
And it had to do with the VAR situation. And he wanted to be more like the way it's done in Italy. Okay, Conte. But now he's saying that he wants a more clinical Spurs.
Okay, so he always wants more from other people but himself. so on Monday he wanted more from VAR. Today he wants more from his players. Conte, when are you going to tell us when you're going to you will give us more?
Wow.
His win rate in the UEFA Champions League is not a good one. I think he's hovering below 35% in win rate in the Champions League. I'm talking adding his experience from Juve, from Inter Milan. It's not just in Tottenham. So again, the question is is the problem external or is the problem you? But we'll get there. At the end of the day, it all comes down to the players that he puts on the pitch. And the players on the pitch, I mean, he chose a really strong side to play, and they did create chances. Unfortunately, they just couldn't put any in the back of the net. So yes, the players need to be a little more clinical, like he says. You create those chances, you should score goals. But he too also has to find a winning formula for the Champions League, because he succeeded with leagues. He succeeded in other local cup competitions, in national cup competitions. The Champions League, though, he just seems to not have cracked that code. So it's not totally all on the players. But yeah, I understand when he says he wants them to be more clinical. They're playing against Frankfurt, for goodness sake. I know they are a defensive side, but I mean, if you create the amount of chances, you have Harry Kane, you have Son, you have Richarlison. At least score 3 goals. That's 3 names I'm giving you.
Okay, Tega. Let's see. Cruz says, Tega, does it look like Barca is going to Europa? And he's put a crying emoticon there. Wasn't that head-to-hand a penalty in favor of Barca?
Okay, so that conversation, we may have to open the phone lines for it if people even watch that match between Barcelona and Inter Milan. But we get to the story first. Yes. And then we take that.
Okay, so let's move on. Don't forget, you can be a part of the conversation. We're streaming live on YouTube. Hey, youtube.com/smooth981fm, and on WhatsApp you can send your messages 0809 or tweet at smooth981. Phone number to call 0144899981. Now Vincenzo Montella is impressed by Mourinho's Roma
Oh, no, I
side.
think they're reading the wrong story.
Okay. Um Okay, so yes, let's pull up the right story. Okay, let's come to Barca before we go on there. And this one is Xavi from the Barca side, and he says we have 3 more finals to come.
Yes.
3 more.
And because I'm saying this because I've seen that message from NS on YouTube, and I've seen the message on WhatsApp.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's just talk about Barcelona now. Barcelona in a tricky spot, and it's really dicey because you thought that this was the team that could get them to qualify from this group at least comfortably. You know, they have the informed Lewandowski, they have their full squad back in form. Pedri is doing some madness in that midfield. You won't even know that he's as young as he is. Sergio Busquets is still, winding his magic. Rafinha has been helping out the team. Ousmane Dembele, for the first time in a long time, has not been in the sick bay. So it looks like a team that can really contend, and you see them do that in the La Liga, but they haven't found the formula in the Champions League. And yesterday, against an Inter Milan side that was under pressure, Inter Milan have not won 4 out of their last 8 matches. They are under serious pressure, and some people were even touting that yesterday could be the last match for Simeone Inzaghi if he doesn't win that. So you go against an Inter under pressure at San Siro with your informed team, and even the great Lewandowski couldn't test the goalkeeper. It wasn't a great game for Barcelona. As much as they dominated possession, they didn't create enough clear-cut chances like you'd see a Barcelona side do. So yes, at the end of the day, on the balance of play, I'd say Inter Milan deserved all 3 points. And there were contentious calls there. There were questionable calls. There was a question of the handball. But sometimes when the hand is that, when the ball bounces off one part of the body onto the hand and the hand is that close to the body, it's just tricky not to be able to give it. And I would stand with the referee on all counts. In Barcelona needed to score. They needed to score from open play. They didn't create those chances. They had that possession, but they didn't take advantage of it. Sorry for that miscall. But they didn't take advantage of it. So all on them. Now Xavi is saying they have 3 finals. They know that the return leg against Inter Milan at Camp Nou is a must win. Otherwise, they are going to backslide.
You're going to moonwalk. I like how you
moonwalk. Moonwalk into Europa, and Europa will welcome them with open arms. So yes, it's a tough call. They are in a tricky spot, but they need a win. So that I like the way he said we have 3 finals to play, because he knows that he would have to win all 3 finals to be sure of making it through to the next round.
Right, on YouTube, we've got comments, and this is from Ernest Okenwa. He says, Tega, I'm seeing in my vision that Barca will be playing in the Europa League if they don't take time. Napoli is on fire this season. I'm tipping them to scale through the semi-finals.
Wow.
Okay, Jesse from Ojo says, so basically, the problem I think I have with the god of soccer is by first and foremost allowing Napoli's president get away with a racist claim against African players.
I agree.
Now he's winning without waning. I think he's getting away with all of the injustice of the game. Okay, I will say hi to Shokbe. Hi, Shokbe. All right, Kosi Coles says, where was Inter Milan generating all the shots from? It wasn't any ball. Okay, I'm not too sure, but something about the direct hits.
Yeah, but even before, I mean, in my house, you could ask my sister about it. But the minute Çalhanoğlu just took that ball, I said, take the shot from there. He took it. It was in back of the net. Barcelona was just too open, too exposed, too porous yesterday. From outside the 18-yard box, from inside the 18-yard, they didn't play a good game yesterday. And so Xavi can question the referee, but at the end of the day, he needs to go back to his drawing board and work it out.
Okay, Big E says, congrats to Tobi and Amusan. She is on her euphoria. She deserves it all round. She put in the work even when her father discouraged her. She needs more than the accolades she's getting right now. Okay, please, I want to see the Ezemo Mazi, the Viking King himself, Haaland, play tomorrow.
Play today, you mean? It's today that he's playing. It's not tomorrow.
See, Haaland has come with a certain kind of fire, and I love it.
Look, Haaland has always had this fire. It's just the stage. So often I tell people, you're only going to be as good in the spotlight as you were in the shadows.
Right.
So Haaland has always been a fantastic footballer, but he was playing with Borussia Dortmund, and as popular as that team may be to a lot of football fans, it's not the same level as Manchester City with Pep Guardiola. It's not the same as UEFA Champions League with a big team. It's not the same as EPL.
Right.
So what he was doing in the shadows, he's now been given a comfortable platform, and he has a sorcerer in the midfield called Kevin De Bruyne to deliver those crosses to him where he likes it. So he's just doing, he's just being Haaland. So he didn't come with a fire, he's being the fire. You're just seeing it now because he's been elevated. And that's what it is. So you have to put on the work in the dark before you can get the accolades in the sun.
Motivations from the lips of Tiger.
I'm opening my church. It's time for Titan.
Yes, bring it on. All right, so we have about a minute left. Can we talk about Vincenzo Montella?
Yeah, let's talk about Roma because the Europa League is tomorrow. So Arsenal plays Bodo Glimt. Roma plays Real Betis, and so with all these changes and the happiness and the confidence they're saying Mourinho has brought to Roma, it will be tested tomorrow against Real Betis because they are a very tricky side to play against. On their good day, they can be hard to beat. On their bad day, it can be a complete thrashing. So depending on what side they roll out of bed on, you could end up with a 2-1 win to Real Betis, or you could end up with a drubbing for Roma. It's horrible. So that's going to be a test for them tomorrow. And then Manchester United plays a team that, well, the name sounds like an Edo name, Omonea.
It does.
So I'm sure when Ronaldo appears at the stadium, he'll be like, is this in Europe? But he's about to find out tomorrow what Thursday night football really is. So Europa League is tomorrow. Really interesting matchups, especially the Arsenal Bodo Glimt because of the form that they are in, and the Roma Real Betis.
All right, well, thank you so much for your messages. Thank you so much, Tega. Great conversation here on The Locker Room. Do stay with us. Okay, I've got a question coming in really quickly. This one is from Dr. Picasso, and he says, Haaland with De Bruyne under Pep is fire. Meeting gasoline in a nuclear plant. Wow.
See the picture
That's like the end of the world.
I'm telling you, that's the picture he painted. All right. And that's the end of the show.
And that is the end. Do stay with us. There's a lot more to come on Smooth Breakfast.
Ah,
Woo!
that was so good.
I know! It was! You made sports fun.
I can't believe it.